Welcome to Insights from the Eye Center, connecting patients to eye care solutions. Now, here's your eye care team.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Insights from the Eye Center. I'm your co-host, Jeremy Wolf. Today, I am joined by Dr. Sydney Madrigal from the team. We are going to get into something that I wasn't really aware of. Like, everybody's heard of contact lenses before, obviously, but I didn't realize there was a whole category called specialty contact lenses. So we're going to get into that today. Dr. Madrigal, nice to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you so much for having me. And specialty contact lenses is something that I'm very excited about. So I'm looking forward to sharing more information with you.
All right, sounds good. So let's get into this. Why don't you start off by, I guess, explaining a little bit about what specialty contact lenses are and how they differ from your traditional contact lenses?
So the easiest way to think about specialty contacts is that they're basically custom lenses that are uniquely designed for the shape of someone's eye or the front surface. Now, there are some different specialty contact lenses. There are different lens materials. I like to think of these in three different categories. So one is a specialty soft lens that will have to be modified to a person's eye. The second is a hard lens or rigid gas permeable lens is what we call it. And those can sometimes mold the front surface or be made exactly for the shape of the eye. And then lastly is a hybrid lens. So this has both components of a hard lens as well as a soft lens.
What are some of the common conditions that you encounter that might cause someone to be a candidate for specialty lenses as opposed to your more traditional lenses?
Yeah, so there are patients who have higher amounts of prescription or astigmatism that might be good candidates for these kinds of lenses. People who are not able to tolerate soft lenses for different reasons, such as dry eye, post-surgical complications, or even certain allergies or eyelid problems. And the ones that we think of the most as well are people who have diseases that affect the curvature of the front of the eye, one of which is called keratoconus. Keratoconus is a degenerative disease that affects the cornea, the clear part of the eye, in which your eye starts to form a cone. And people with keratoconus have difficulty seeing even in glasses and in any kind of soft contact lens. These are the best candidates for a specialty lens.
What are scleral lenses?
Yeah, so scleral lenses, you can easily be described as a hard lens that goes over the eye and onto the sclera. So the sclera is the white part of the eye. So from the outer edge to the white part that you see on the nose area. And so it completely vaults the eye and creates a new surface for you to be able to see through. I almost consider these like a prosthetic cornea because they can really help improve vision for a variety of different reasons.
Very interesting. So I'm curious, what does the fitting process look like for these specialty type lenses? Because as we talk about this, obviously I've worn contacts in the past, and I know just pick them up out of the package and put them on your eye, and it is what it is. But when you're talking about specifically fitting to the eye, is that something that you go in and you take like a map of the eye and then like a 3D printer prints the actual lens to fit the eye? Walk me through how that works, because I'm really fascinated by that.
Yeah, so that is, what we hope in the future is for something that's completely customized. But at this time, the process is taking images of the front surface. So we call that a topography. And just like in geography, where you can see mountains and valleys on a topography, I can see all of the areas that are elevated or lower on the front surface. I then will place a lens I have a trial set on the eye to see how your eye and your eyelids interact with this lens. And once I take all of those measurements, I speak to a consultation team in which we uniquely design the lens to fit the front surface. So it's a little bit of a process, both on the patient end, but on our end. But when completely customized, these lenses can help improve vision tremendously.
So I don't want to assume anything. What are some of the advantages? Like, it seems obvious that it would be, you would think it would be beneficial or have a greater advantage to having custom lenses as compared to your traditional lens because it's fitted to the eye. But what are some of the main benefits of using specialty lenses over traditional lenses?
Yeah. So there are quite a few different advantages. One including for patients who can't see with regular glasses or soft contact lenses, giving vision potential where people can do daily activities, they can go back to work, they can become independent. So those I would say are the biggest cases that we're seeing. However, it can also be an advantage for people who might feel discomfort in their current lenses or the vision doesn't feel stable because these lenses are significantly more stable. I also have people who, with dry eye, need something to protect the front surface of your eye. So it can also act as a protectant for people with dry eyes as well.
So are there people out there that have problems with their vision to the degree at which a traditional lens just won't work at all? Like, and then specialty lens can actually solve that for them?
Yeah, exactly. And there are some people who are just doing okay with soft lenses. And we've been able to change into a specialty or more custom lens, and they feel like their vision, even though it was okay before, improves significantly with this custom lens.
What are some common challenges that people might face when using specialty lenses, and how can they typically be addressed?
So it is a little bit more of a process rather than just a regular disposable lens. These are lenses that you're going to be reusing and have to know how to take care of, clean, and care for over time. So we actually have a whole guide that we set up with our patients with. It includes all of the names of the cleaners that I have approved, as well as any solutions or anything else that must be used. We also, on the fitting process, will have someone sit down with them and go in detail exactly what the do's and don'ts are for wearing the lens, removing the lens, and how to care for them in the long term. So I believe if we set you up for success at the beginning and always have that open discussion, we can not only make sure that these lenses last a long time, but also that we're safely using them.
Yeah, it comes down to proper education, going through the process with clients. And that's one of the things that you guys do so well at the Eye Center. You have a team of specialists, and each of you have specific areas that you specialize in, and you really customize everything to the clients to make sure they have the best experience. That being said, like, what are some special care and maintenance requirements for specialty lenses that differ? Because I remember when when I wore contacts, they were typically disposable. I kind of just threw in my eye in the morning and then threw them out at the end of the day. And I know, obviously, if you have a hard, rigid gas permeable lens, that's something that you've got to care for and maintain a little bit more. But specifically for specialty lenses, what does the maintenance look like on that?
So since there are some different lens choices, even whether it's the hard or the custom soft, there can be a little bit of a difference. So I would always refer to your optometrist to make sure that you're doing
Sure.
everything they prescribed. However, if you didn't have an idea, essentially there are certain cleaners and solutions that will say it's safe to be used with your lens. And those are not always found at like CVS or Walgreens. So I also want to make sure that you know exactly where to be able to find those specific cleaners. So they're just a different type of material that they use in the cleaning solutions, but it might be one or two more steps, but overall, once you have an idea of what to do, it's not really that much work or time.
Are there any specific tips that you can give to listeners to keep specialty lenses safe and clean for them?
I think the one thing that we always forget is to change our case, and that could be used for anyone who is a contact lens wearer. Making sure your case is dry every time that you're wearing the lenses and you don't have them in the case, and then making sure that it's clean and that you're using the proper solution.
See, yeah, that's something that I wouldn't even have thought of, right? Changing the case. You said that and I was like, why would you change the case? But it makes sense for sure. So we alluded to this at the beginning of the conversation. I was trying to get into the idea of how these lenses are fitted to the eye, and I talked about 3D printing, customized. I know you guys at the Eye Center, you stay up to date with the latest and greatest technologies, and you're always taking advanced classes and learning more about the industry. What does the future look like? Let's dive into that a little bit further. What's on the horizon for these? Are we getting to a place where we're going to have more comprehensive scans and have actual lenses really fitted to the actual topography of the eye? Like, where is that going? What's the future hold in that regard?
Yeah, definitely. So there already are a few lenses that can be made that are impression based. So like when you
Okay.
go to the dentist and get an impression for a retainer or for a night guard, they're actually able to do the same thing. And we're able to do an impression of the front of the eye and then send that off to a lab that custom creates something based off of that impression. Now, the next step would be able to create a visual impression so that nothing actually has to be applied onto the eye. And there's a way to take an image of the scleral, which is the white part, including the cornea, and having a whole like 360 image of the front surface and then creating a lens from there. I would say there's still a lot of work to be done in that area, but it's definitely the next wave of newer lenses and technology that's coming out.
Yeah, fascinating stuff. I say this all the time when I talk to eye doctors specifically. I am so fascinated by the human eye. It really is mind-boggling and crazy. So, is there anything else that you wanted to touch on before we wrap up here?
Yeah, so I like to mention that these lenses are really available to anyone. And so in some cases, we only think of it as someone who has a severe eye disease. But there are some patients that I've had that are either play sports or just, felt like they wish they could see better in their contacts. And those are the people that you can make a really big difference and might even help improve their vision just to make it that much better. So I think that almost anyone could take some kind of benefit from these specialty lenses. And so I love doing it. And it's something that really makes me happy to be able to help people see better.
Are you ever recommending, like, you have somebody that comes in, maybe they're wearing glasses for a long time, and they don't necessarily have a specific condition that requires specialty lenses, but are there ever scenarios where you're just recommending that right off the bat, or are you typically getting them into your more traditional lens and then from there, depending on how that goes, kind of upgrading to a specialty lens? Or I guess it's probably patient dependent, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah, I think it's patient dependent. But in some cases, if the parameters of the person's vision isn't something that I can get in just a regular lens, then I will definitely recommend something more specialty if I know that the visual outcome is going to be way better and that we're not having to compromise on anything.
I guess also another question I had was, are there any, I guess, with regular traditional lenses that aren't specialty, are there any long-term implications for the health of the eye from wearing, let's say, your typical disposable lens where you pop it in every day and throw it out versus having something that's more customized to the eye? Is that better for the long-term longevity and the health of the eye to have a specialty lens? I would think it would be, no?
Yeah, I don't think there has been any like studies per
Got
se
it.
that have done officially and said that, but we're focusing more on like on the vision potential. Of course, daily lenses are amazing, and we love those for many reasons. But the specialty lenses, I think, just give us a bit more customization, and also vision potential is way greater.
All right. Very cool. Very informative stuff, Dr. Madrigal. It was a pleasure getting the opportunity to get a look inside your mind and learn a little bit more about specialty contact lenses. So it's a pleasure having you on, and we'll catch everyone next time. Everyone take care. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Insights from the Eye Center, your guide to clear vision and comprehensive care. For more information, visit eyecenter.com or call 954-432-7711.